Good evening, everybody. I'm Sandeep Kulkarni speaking on Dynamic Foundry Group and welcome you all to this small video on sand reclamation. As you all know, sand reclamation is very important aspect in the foundry. We know the sand is a natural resource and getting finished day by day, and in the foundry we need lot of sand for adding as a fresh sand for the core making and other aspect as well. So sand is a very important aspect in foundry and we need these natural resources day in and day out. But unfortunately, the sand is requirement of sand, or you can say a natural, it is a natural resource. So day by day it is going to be a critical thing for the foundry industry. Also it has an environmental aspect as well, as the waste sand dumping is going to be a critical factor in the foundry as well, and many foundries and many areas are facing this issue of dumping this waste sand in a specific area to avoid the environmental issues. So this is going to be a critical factor in the industry, or in the foundry industry specifically, in the future as well. So one of the solution for this is the sand reclamation, and this sand reclamation aspect is coming a long way from few of the companies are using it. Few of the clusters are uh, helping these foundries to get this waste sand together and reclaim them and reuse again. And there are some concepts and misconceptions about this reclamation of sand, and one of the reason why I'm taking this small video is to understand or to give you an exact idea what is reclamation method, what is the sand reclamation is all about, and how it can be used in our daily foundry routine as well. So let us start this video with this brief introduction, as sand reclamation is a very important aspect for the future of the foundry, and it will be going to be a key trend in coming days. Sand reclamation, maybe we can consider it as a washing, is the one of the important way of reclaiming sand, the washing and drying. But unfortunately, it is not very popular, as washing and drying of sand is basically includes muddy kind of situation. There is another aspect of environment. There is a lot of mud is been prepared, and it is very difficult to you can say channelize in a practical way. So it is not very popular method, and most of the foundries or most of the clusters are not using it regularly. So washing is one of the method which is not regularly used or not very much popular in sand reclamation. The most popular sand reclamation processes are basically a mechanical attrition, and it is a chemical and thermal attrition. So it is a very popular methods which are used for sand reclamation. Actually, sand reclamation is nothing but to gather the black sand. It is actually of two different way. One is green sand. Green sand, we take waste sand, or we can say burnt sand, or whatever sand going out of our system. We take that sand, and it is mechanically, thermally, and chemically treated. We can say it has been treated mechanically, thermally, and chemically, and from that we remove the whatever the binding is there, some coating is there, some shells are there which are removing, and we get a fresh new sand which we can use for the core making. We can use for again as a in the system as a fresh sand or new sand addition. So this is how this whole sand reclamation process has been carried out actually. While chemical and thermal attrition, it is around 550 to 600 degree temperature is there. In mechanical attrition, the sand grains are being passed through, and it is mechanically treated, or mechanically we can say peeling off done by using the mechanical way, and because of that some binding or some the coating has been removed, and sand can be transformed. We can say whenever we treat this sand, it is very important to avoid the dust, basically, because the dust formation is one of the important aspect that is happening during the sand reclamation. So avoiding this dusty environment or dust removal is very plays a very important role here. The way you can handle this particular aspect, the better is the sand reclamation, and you will get better sand. It has been said that most of the time that after the sand reclamation, the properties of sand gets better because it has been activated, it has been sieved, and as it has been chemically, thermally, and mechanically treated, it will get its property to the best of its level, and that is why the most of the foundries are very happy to use this reclaimed sand to some extent, or to the extent they can use it to maintain their regular properties for core making or as a new sand addition as well. So normally around 80% of sand can be reclaimed. 20% is again a waste which we have to throw out. You can use that 20% dust or 20% waste sand for some other projects like making a bricks or some other areas where this dusty sand can be used, but around 80% is the total recovery we can say during the reclamation of the sand. The cost may be around 2 rupees 50 paisa to 2 rupees 70 paisa per kg of sand during this reclamation. So there is not a much we can say commercial impact while using this reclaimed sand, because anyway we are getting the new sand around that cost, we can say around 3 rupees to 3 rupee 50 paisa. So there is not a much benefit of using this reclaimed sand commercially, but as an environmental aspect, as a natural resource perspective, or as a waste recovery perspective, it is a very important to use reclaimed sand. Most of the foundries are using this reclaimed sand for core making. They are using around 25 to 40% of this reclaimed sand mixing with their normal sand, and it has been observed that around 10 to 15% of resin can be saved due to use of this reclaimed sand. Some foundries are using 100% reclaimed sand as a new sand or fresh sand addition for their maintaining their sand level or maintaining their sand volume. So this is another aspect which has to be considered in the foundry. Regarding this chemically binded sand and you can say thermally binded sands with that is no bake and CO2, they can be also reclaimed. These lumps can be reclaimed, and those sand can be used, but those reclaimed sand can be used only as a backing sand, not as a facing sand. You have to use facing sand with your normal or regular fresh sand, and then you can use this reclaimed sand for the making your backing sand, which is just above the pattern level, above the facing sand. This backing sand can be used to fill up the mold so that your cost can be reduced, so that environmental aspect can be saved, and with all these factors definitely we can help the nature or environment to save a bit as well. So one more thing is very important, that is thermal and mechanical attrition is important to maintain the pH. If you are using this sand in a green sand directly, or for the core making, maintaining pH is very important. So along with mechanical, thermal and chemical attrition plays an important role to maintain that pH value. So it is has to be understood. Small plants for reclamation are little difficult to make, but the foundry clusters or the biggest foundry, we are consuming more than we can say 1,000 ton per day or something like that, can make their own reclamation plants for treating their waste sand, treating their core lumps for getting reclaimed sand back for making new cores, and they can get benefited through this by reducing their input of natural resources in terms of new or fresh sand. So this is another aspect we have to be very clean. That is, we can the benefit we can say for using this reclaimed sand. Number one is the save natural resources is number one. Number two, the avoid of pain of dumping the waste sand, waste we can say waste lumps and waste sand outside the foundry is another pain area which is been avoided in that case. Then save nature is very important. Can reduce sand additives because of reclaimed sand. We can able to reduce around 10 to 15% of resin content as well. And last and not least is basically you can able to reduce the pollution and save this earth for longer time. So this is how I can able to say something about the reclamation and reclamation sand. Hope this information was helpful to you, and this will definitely going to be a key factor when you are this key factor in deciding whether to use this reclaimed sand or not. Definitely reclaimed sand having the almost same properties, AFS, safe distribution, grain size, not much difference. You can use them up to 25 to 40% easily. I have used it before. I already have a couple of videos on that regarding core making with the reclaimed sand, so you can also watch those videos. And definitely I will say that using reclaimed sand will help you to reduce your pain of dumping the waste material outside, and also help you in saving the nature and environmental aspect as well. Thank you very much for patient hearing. Thank you.